Renowned physicist Werner von Braun, the father of NASA, who came from Germany, who was a rocket physicist, as we know, believed that UFOs were extraterrestrial. To those who believe UFOs are not real and that this is some sort of deception agenda, I ask you, why would the government and intelligence agencies spend so many resources trying to cover up the existence and ridicule the idea that they're real and place them into the conspiracy bucket if they wanted to use them for deception? Now, we know from what John Ratcliffe announced in his interview with Maria Bartiromo, June 1st will be the date that the U.S. will be disclosing some information concerning extraterrestrials and UFOs. And he will explain to us more about what he knows about that. This is on Collective Spark by Arjun Walia from Collective Evolution. Many decades ago, the mentor of Werner von Braun, Hermann Oberth, the founding father of rocketry and astronomics, also known as the father of spaceflight, stated his belief that flying saucers are real and that they are spaceships from another solar system. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. So he believes that they're spaceships from another solar system, and he went on to say that I think that they possibly are manned by intelligent observers who are members of a race that may have been investigating our Earth for centuries. And he wrote these words in Flying Saucers Come from a Distant World, The American Weekly, October 24th, 1954. At the time, academics like Oberth were well aware of the reality of UFO phenomenon. Carl Jung, for example, accused the Air Force of covering up the UFO phenomenon at a time. Werner von Braun seems to be concerned about a false flag alien invasion. Nikola Tesla was also highly interested in the subject, and he believed that there were extraterrestrials and that he was even in contact with them. Now, according to a paper published in the journal History and Technology titled Extraterrestrial Encounters, UFOs, Science and the Quest for Transcendence, 1947 to 1972, at the International UFO-IFO Congress hosted in Wiesbaden in Germany and organized by Carl Kate, 1907 to 2001, credulous UFO impresario and president of the Deutsche UFO-IFO Studentengemeinschaft. Oberth repeated claims first made in 1954 that he was no longer willing to exclude the possibility that UFOs could indeed be of extraterrestrial origin. Having examined all existing arguments, Oberth proclaimed in front of many hundreds of people who apparently believed that the Earth has been visited by emissaries from outer space, as the Times wrote, that he was now convinced that flying saucers were very real and carrying visitors from outer space. Oberth later repeated that the UFOs are a kind of sentinel, here simply to observe and report, because a mankind which is as gifted as inventors and researchers as we are, yet has remained politically and morally on our stage of development, constitutes a threat to the entire cosmos. It's interesting to contemplate who Oberth was around. The highest-ranking military people in the country at the time, and more. Fast forward to today, decades later, and we now know that military agencies have been covering up the phenomenon for quite some time. We have no doubt that beliefs of Oberth are, in fact, knowledge gained not only through his work, but through the knowledge of his colleagues as well. A brief discussion about the phenomenon. UFOs, once considered a conspiracy theory and subjected to, as emphasized in many other articles on the topic, an official campaign of ridicule and secrecy. First, CIA Director Roscoe Hillenkotter have now exploded within the mainstream, with the majority of people constitute as proof has been released to the public domain, and this proof comes in the form of video footage, high-ranking military witness testimony, pictures, and even supposed debris captured from some of these mysterious objects, as well as whole objects themselves. In the mainstream, they're known as UAPs, or unidentified aerial phenomena. Multiple governments around the world have admitted to their existence, with the latest example being the United States, with multiple videos that have been released from the US Navy through the Pentagon. Mainstream media outlets like New York Times and CNN are covering the topic with extreme credibility, and the question is no longer whether or not they exist, it's what they are. Whose are they? Now, to those who believe UFOs are not real and that this is some sort of deception agenda, why would the government and intelligence agencies spend so much resource trying to cover up their existence and ridicule the idea that they are real and place them into the conspiracy bucket? Now, so what are they? Based on research, just as there was evidence for the existence of UFOs when they were a conspiracy theory, there is, in the author's opinion, abundant evidence that some of these objects are from life that does not originate on our Earth, be it extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional, or whatever you want to call it. He says, I believe this is known, and if it's presented in mainstream UFO disclosure, that these objects are most likely advanced technology from another country. Now, there are those who believe that they could be the remnants of Atlanteans who used to live tens of thousands of years. For example, the Sumerian kinglists. These people pre-flood civilizations had a tremendous amount of technology. If you look at the Emerald Tablets playlist I have on my playlists, I have all the Emerald Tablets read there for you. They were written by Thoth the Atlantean. They had such advanced technology. They even had interstellar flight and also interdimensional travel, and they were using their knowledge to the detriment of human beings. And Thoth says that he believed it was a matter of time before divine intervention stopped them. And he says that a lot of Atlanteans escaped and went to other continents. The first thing they did was to build pyramid plateaus. Anyway, if we go to the scroll through UFO extraterrestrial articles, you'll see that extraterrestrial phenomenon is legitimate, and numerous articles on the subjects have been written for over a decade. Now, for example, in 1974, Margaret Mead stated, there are unidentified flying objects. That is, there are hard cores of cases, perhaps 20 to 30% in different studies for which there is no explanation. We can only imagine what purposes lie behind the activities of these quiet, harmless cruising objects that time and again approach the Earth. The most likely explanation, it seems to me, is that they are simply watching what we're up to. This was from UFOs Visitors from Outer Space, Red Book, Volume 143, September 1974. And also one of our senators just a few days ago, I forget which one, who it was, he says that he was very concerned about UFOs over U.S. military installations in the United States. Usually installations and bases having some sort of nuclear or atomic storages there. Now, anyway, when asked if she believed UFOs, she also quoted as saying, I think this is a silly question born of confusion. Belief has nothing to do with matters of faith. It has nothing to do with the kind of knowledge that's based on scientific inquiry. We should not bracket UFOs with angels, archangels, angels, devils, and demons. This is just what we're doing when we ask whether people believe in UFOs and if their existence was an article of faith. Do people believe in the sun or the moon or the changing seasons or the chairs they're sitting on? When we want to understand something strange, something previously unknown to anyone, we have to begin with an entirely different set of questions, like what is it? How does it work? Are there recurrent regularities? Beginning in this way with an open mind, people can take a hard look at all the evidence. Now, the particular quote from Mead reminds us of another used before. There seems to be a deep concern that the whole field will be tarnished by studying a phenomenon that is tainted by its association with superstition, spiritualism, and magic. Now, these days, it seems belief rules. If an investigation or scientific data shows something that challenges what we currently believe, it may be discarded, labeled as pseudoscience, or simply unacknowledgeable. And that being said, it's good to see the collective mind opening up. This is from renowned physicist Father Astronautics, believed UFOs were extraterrestrial, published on Collective Evolution here on Creative Commons. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. And in a couple of months, we will be having more disclosure coming out from the U.S. government concerning UFOs and extraterrestrials.